Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode of Uncle Gary. In this episode, we're going to show you how to buy Bitcoin. So many people have been asking me, how do I actually do it? How do I get some Bitcoin of my own? And I'll be showing you, I'll be walking through a screen of each and every place where you're going to need to click in order to buy Bitcoin. Please note, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own research as always. But there is some good news. If you do choose to trade, there are some links down below that will get you some free currency if you do choose to fund an account with any of the exchanges listed below. And there's free Interac fees for those of you in Canada and some other goodness down there. So go ahead, like and subscribe so that I know that this video is worthwhile for you. And let's jump in and see how to get some Bitcoin. Thanks everybody for joining, and as mentioned, we're going to go through how to buy Bitcoin. So let's start off with a little bit of a history lesson. For those of you that may remember or have known me for some time, I did run some courses in 2017 and 2018 on cryptocurrency, how to buy crypto, and those were some good times. The whole cryptocurrency space kind of died down a little bit for a while, so we didn't run as many courses, and now sure enough, when the price goes back up, it gets exciting again. So I'm going to be showing you exactly how to buy Bitcoin. Now, with that said, there are a couple of things we can talk about. The first is, in the cryptocurrency course that I had created, we went through what is a blockchain, what is Bitcoin, what is a cryptocurrency, how do they actually work, and all of the things that we talked about are explained in very plain English, matter-of-fact kind of speaking, nothing jargony or difficult to understand. So things you could easily explain to your grandmother. Was how we would normally deliver the course. We would also go into the mechanics of trading. For this session and this episode, I'm only going to double click on that middle block. And in the courses, we actually also talked about what does the future look like and how do we do security with our cryptocurrency? How do we secure it? What are the security implications? And where is this going to go? What is going to happen beyond where we are now? So if you're interested in those courses, I am willing to put them back online and make them available. If you'd like to leave a comment down below, like and subscribe to the channel, then I'll know that this was a successful video and it made a difference for you. And I'll look at starting to give away some of those courses, maybe to the first few people who are looking to take one of those courses and get more clued in on what's happening in the crypto space. So let's go to our little background information that you'll need in order to understand what Bitcoin is. I'm going to spend about 10 minutes or so just on the background and lead up so that you understand the risks involved and what we're actually talking about so that nothing is confusing, and then we'll go through actually looking at the screen in order to trade. So a couple of points. Bitcoin is a decentralized currency. It's a cryptocurrency. What that means is decentralized. There's no one in the middle. There's no authority in the middle. Like if you were going to transfer money from your bank to a friend's bank, you would need someone in the middle, your bank. Or if you were a country and you were sending money to another country, there is a central bank in each country. Those are the middlemen. Now, we don't have those kinds of middlemen or centralized authorities. In Bitcoin land, it is decentralized. There is nobody in the middle. And a cryptocurrency means that the currency is cryptographically signed. And what I mean by that is, if you ever remember in the spy movies or in World War II, when they encrypted messages, they would use this cipher code or a way to scramble up the messages so that prying eyes couldn't see what was being said. Well, very similar with cryptocurrency. The currency is in itself cryptographically signed or encrypted. So that's what we mean by decentralized. There's no middleman. And cryptocurrency, it is a cryptographically signed currency. Now, the person who invented this, his name was Satoshi Nakamoto. And when I say his name, we don't actually know for sure whether it was a man, a woman, two dogs, and a duck. We have no idea who actually invented it. All we know is that he published a white paper. It was about 9 pages of white paper that he published that described the blockchain concept and Bitcoin itself. And then he got some help coding it and putting it onto a program that he started running on the internet to create the Bitcoin we know today. And he basically went out of communication after about December 2010. Nobody's heard from Satoshi Nakamoto ever again. It's rumored that he's probably died since then, and he chose not to be disclosed who he was. So we'll never know who that was. From a Bitcoin standpoint itself, you've probably heard that there is a maximum supply of 21 million Bitcoins. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. Now, a lot of people at this point ask me and say, Uncle Gary, how can that be if we're going to use this as a global currency or some sort of very successful globally adopted currency? How can there only be 21 million? There's not enough. Well, the good news is Satoshi Nakamoto thought of that, and each Bitcoin is divisible into 100 million, what we would call cents for dollars. He called Satoshi, or we call Satoshi, and that is divisible up to 8 decimal places. So for dollars, we only have 2 decimal places. You can only have 99 cents, and then the next cent you add creates a full dollar. There are 100 cents in a dollar. Well, with cryptocurrency, and in this particular case, Bitcoin, it is divisible into 8 decimal places. So there are 100 million Satoshi in each Bitcoin. So you have 21 million of the Bitcoin whole units, and then each Bitcoin also has 100 million Satoshi. So I've taken 1 Satoshi off the total money supply of Bitcoin so that you can see what it looks like after that red dot, which is the decimal. And lastly, what this implies is that you can own fractions of a Bitcoin. A bit like owning cents of a dollar. Many people say to me, Uncle Gary, how am I supposed to buy a Bitcoin if they cost $35,000 or $40,000, or they're going to even go higher? Have I lost out and will I never be able to get involved? Well, the good news is you just buy a fraction. So in this day and age, current exchange rate, I think the equivalent of $100 is about 0.00260 fraction of a Bitcoin. So that's how everyone is able to actually participate. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can spend any money that you're comfortable with. And that's how we will divide out the Bitcoin so that you understand it is able to be purchased in fractions. I did spend quite a number of years looking to educate people on what this was about and why it was so important. To be honest, most people I found just basically wanted to know when and how they needed to buy so that they could show a profit or just make some more money. And I've come to terms with that. That's what most people want to do. I don't think many people actually want to understand how it works. Some do, so I am willing to put up those courses. I'm willing to run a little competition or something to give away some courses. So go ahead, like and subscribe if you do want access to any of that stuff. Let's get down to a few of the other details that we are going to talk about, what my nephew would call the boring detail stuff. There are some risks, and you do need to know about them. I'm your Uncle Gary. I'm not going to let you go off and hurt yourself or get into a situation where you lose some money. The other thing is a little bit of a discussion on objectives. Not very long, but I am going to cover them. Most important thing when it comes to the risks of cryptocurrency, do not lose your keys. So cryptocurrencies have keys, and basically that is how you secure the cryptocurrency. It is the equivalent of the password or PIN number to your bank account. If you lose that with a centralized currency, like a bank account or something like that, you can go and ask to find out what that PIN number was or have it reset. With cryptocurrency, you cannot. If you lose your keys, you lose your money. There is no toll-free number. There's no email address you can email. There's no requested website you can go to and log a case. And there's no one who can help you get your currency back. If you lose your keys, you lose your currency. Very, very important point here. Can't stress that enough. Next one, hackers. The area of cryptocurrency is rife with hacking. Many, many people have been hacked. Many people continue to be hacked. They send you emails saying you've lost all your Bitcoin. Please log into your wallet to make sure that you can get them back. And then when you log in, they actually steal your password and username. They send you emails that look like the exact email from your crypto exchange, and they're actually fake. There's a whole world of fakery and skullduggery that goes on that is related to the crypto world, because cryptocurrency is incredibly easy to move and it's incredibly easy to steal. So you've got to watch yourself and make sure that you know how to retain and repository your Bitcoin, because it is very, very dangerous out there. Next point, investment objectives. It wouldn't be an Uncle Gary video if we didn't talk for a moment about your investment objectives. With any investment, whether it's cryptocurrency or not, it is vital that you understand when and how you're going to exit your investment. It doesn't make a difference if it's Bitcoin or not. You should know when and how you're going to exit. Now, some people might think, well, I'm just going to buy Bitcoin and never exit. That's fine, as long as you understand the implications of that. Second point around implications, before you make an investment, understand the tax implications. A lot of people think, well, no one's going to know. How will they ever possibly know? It's anonymous. It's not really that way anymore, because all of the exchanges are now starting to be asked to disclose who sent money and how did they get the money into the exchange. So the tax authorities of each of the countries where these exchanges are active is starting to ask who's sending money into them. So you want to understand that before you play. And lastly, there is no federal insurance on your cryptocurrency or your deposits. So if you're familiar with banking regulations, there is something known as a federal deposit taking institution, and those are covered by a federal insurance policy. Basically, in Canada, it's the CDIC, in the US, there's the FDIC, and that means if the bank where you put your money goes bankrupt, you're able to claim an insurance from the government and get back at least some of your money, up to about $100,000. With cryptocurrency, that does not exist. If your exchange where you have your cryptocurrency goes bankrupt or goes away or gets hacked, hashtag sorry for you, you lose your cryptocurrency. This is not a myth or scaremongering. This has happened numbers of times. Currency exchanges have gone insolvent, been hacked, or the owners have run away with the money, and this has happened repeatedly. So you want to watch for that. Now we'll dive into the mechanics of the actual trading. So when you look at doing anything, buying, selling, or trading crypto, there are two elements to discuss. The one is what is a wallet, and the second one is what is an exchange. So we'll start off with a wallet, and wallets essentially, as the name would imply in other contexts, it's a place where you store your coins, your currencies, your tokens. You send and receive information or tokens of Bitcoin or Satoshi in and out of a wallet. You are able to have single or multi-currency wallets. Now, for the Bitcoin protocol itself, it only handles its own wallets. You can create a wallet on the Bitcoin blockchain, and you don't get to store any other currencies in that wallet. However, there are certain apps and certain websites where you can store multiple wallets inside the app, and it starts to look like a multi-currency wallet. It's a lot easier than storing a Bitcoin wallet and then an Ethereum wallet and a Litecoin wallet, and then there are other derivatives of Bitcoin like Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision. There are other ones, so it's quite a lot easier to have them all grouped together. But you don't have to. You can have a single purpose wallet should you wish. Some wallets are less secure, some wallets are more secure. It's not that they're badly written or inherently not secure. It's more about if you leave your wallet online and there's a hacking attempt or you get a virus on your computer, it is possible that your cryptocurrency could be stolen. Whereas if you take your wallet offline, your cryptocurrency is not accessible unless you plug the wallet back in or you reinstantiate it into a computer. So if you are interested in understanding this a little bit more, go ahead and let me know you want my course. There's a handout inside the course, and it covers off all the different types of wallets, how the ease of use versus security differs from each one, and so on. At the end of the day, there are online wallets, which are like websites and smartphones, apps that you can download, and there are offline wallets. The offline wallets are by far more secure. This is a piece of hardware, looks a little bit like a memory stick that you plug into a computer, but you unplug it when you're finished, and then it is no longer accessible to your computer. When you want it, you plug it back in, and you can then access your wallet that way. The other alternative, some people actually print out the keys. You are able to print your keys down onto paper and then store them maybe in two halves, one half in the bank vault and one half, it's at a friend's house or something, and you basically keep your crypto keys in paper, and you can also lock them into a desktop vault or a separate section of your hard drive to keep them offline. Most importantly, crypto wallets are not a bank. So what I mean by that is you and only you are responsible for your security. This is critical. I cannot impress upon this enough. A crypto wallet is not the same as a crypto exchange account. Many people buy cryptocurrency on an exchange and they leave their currency on the exchange. We have a saying in the crypto world, not your keys, not your coins. And what that means is it's very similar to if you were going to drive your own car and keep the car key. You have control of the car, you can do whatever you want with it. But if you valet your car at a valet parking and you hand the keys to the valet, at that point you no longer have the keys to the car. If someone else wants to take that car and they've got the keys, they can drive that car away. So that's what it looks like when you're storing your keys on an exchange. It's valet parking your car. So you want to be very careful with that one. I generally encourage people, if you are going to buy on an exchange, to move most of your coins off and keep them offline, and only keep the ones where you plan to actively move money in and out and trade a bit like keeping some petty cash in your wallet. You wouldn't store your life savings in your wallet, in your back pocket. You'd keep just the amount that you need to go to the grocery store or whatever you're going to do with your needs for your cash are. So what we're going to go on to next is actually the mechanical aspects of trading on an exchange. And there are two types of exchanges, an on-ramp exchange and a non-fiat exchange. The important points to note here: fiat means by government decree. It means a government has made a law about creating a currency. This is known as a fiat currency. And fiat currencies are like the Japanese yen, the Canadian dollar, the US dollar, the British pound, etc. So when you are going to give paper or country money to an exchange and they are going to give you back cryptocurrency, that is known as an on-ramp exchange. There are other types of exchanges where you're only going to bring them cryptocurrency and they will transfer it or exchange it for other cryptocurrencies. Okay, they do not deal necessarily in fiat currency or country money. Many of those exchanges don't want to deal with the governments, the regulators, all of the people that try to regulate money and do all of the necessary regulations that we need in our current financial structure. If they don't want to deal with that, they become a non-fiat exchange and they don't have to deal with those countries or their regulatory requirements. A lot of things are changing, but as it stands now, my suggestion to you is stick to the on-ramp exchanges until you're comfortable trading, and then you can start to move your currencies between the different cryptocurrencies that exist. So we can give two examples of exchange scenarios, and I'm going to give you links down below where you can get a discount. The first one is going to be on Coinbase. The second one is going to be on CoinSquare, and they are Canadian and US exchanges. So I'm going to show you both so that you're familiar with them, and we can jump over and have a look at that now. Okay, so here we are in Coinbase, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. So I'm going to go and fill in my password and username. Now, one very important point that I do want to note is I would highly encourage you to keep a second factor of authentication. What that means is there's a little code. You can install an app on your phone, and then they text you and make sure that you are the only one who has the second factor of authentication. This is usually like when the bank texts you a PIN number or something equivalent to that. You go ahead and load up your app. Usually the Google Authenticator is used quite often, or there are other equivalents, but my suggestion is always have a second factor of authentication to stop someone accidentally stealing your cryptocurrency by logging into your account or looking over your shoulder as they as you log in, or if someone accidentally is taking over your computer through a malware or a virus, then you can limit your exposure by having a second factor of authentication, noticing that either it is asking you for it in the right time, or if it's not asking you for it when it should, you know something's fishy and you can avoid the transactions. So let's go ahead and log right in. And here we are logged in. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour around very briefly. This shows you the trending graph of the value of the Bitcoin that you have in your wallet when you join the Coinbase system. And you can go down a little bit and look at all of the watch lists of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP is Ripple, the Bitcoin Cash, which is different from Bitcoin, Litecoin, there's something known as Stellar Lumens. Each of these are different cryptocurrencies. By far the most important and most popular one is Bitcoin. So you can then also look at your portfolio, and I only keep the amount of money that I intend to use as petty cash or liquid cash in this online system here. All of the other cryptocurrency that I own, I take and keep offline, and I encourage you to do the same thing. So as you can see here, 100% of everything I own at Coinbase is in Bitcoin, and it's basically 0.25 of a Bitcoin. And that was something that I've held for some time. So to give you just a conversion tracking, a recent transaction list of all the conversions that I may have done, I'm just showing you here that for the time that I've been with Coinbase, it's been well since before 2018, just so that you know this is a legitimate exchange. If you do choose to use it yourself, you can go ahead and see what they do and do your own research before joining anything like this. If you do want to buy, the way to do that is going ahead and clicking on the buy sell button. I'm going to go quite briefly into, I'm in Canada, so I'm going to mention this in Canadian dollars. Let's say I wanted to purchase $500. I would like to purchase $500 worth of Bitcoin. If you click on the Bitcoin, you get a choice of all of the other currencies that you can purchase. Again, each of these is a different cryptocurrency. BTC is the one you want to watch for, not BCH. So you want to be very careful of which one you're picking. And when we go back, you can sign up with an account here, which is where you are going to keep your money coming from. So this is the source of your funds. Now, I have hooked up one of my bank accounts that I have with TD Bank. They're a US bank as well as a Canadian bank, so that makes it a little bit easier. But they all put a limit on, and most of them will not allow you to use a credit card. So you may need to use a debit card or some kind of other payment mechanism. And you get a choice of those payment mechanisms. If you're in the US, you can use various payment gateways. You can then click on Preview Buy, and it will show you how much you're going to be charged for the pleasure of doing this transaction. So Coinbase over here is charging in the order of about $19.18 as a fee. They tell you about this fee over here. If you're interested, you can go and click on that button and just go and look at what the fee is being charged for. And the purchase will then be for $480. And the amount of Bitcoin that you'll actually get for that is worked out as 0.01005609 Bitcoin. You would then click Buy Now, and that's how you would do the first transaction of buying Bitcoin. Okay, we can reverse out of that. I'm not going to purchase in them at this moment. One other point that I would like to make is if you do go into when you have your Bitcoin, if you've bought it, you are keeping your currency on the exchange. This is what I mentioned about valeting your car. If you keep the keys on the exchange has control of your keys. You do not. So I wanted to show you, I've been trading and moving various amounts of Bitcoin in and out of these currencies since about 2016, 2017. And you can transfer them and move them around as you wish. There is also now a vault. This is a more secure offline form of storage where you can move your money into the vault. I have not personally used this vault. I keep my cryptocurrency off of the exchanges when I want to store it. So I have not used the vault, but you're welcome to go ahead and try. And then you put a deposit in there, and it keeps it segregated or separate in a harder to access area so that it's not as easy to get the cryptocurrency out, which is a form of protection from hackers or malicious actors trying to get to your Bitcoin. So that concludes the Coinbase purchasing process. I'm now going to switch over and show you how to use CoinSquare up in Canada. Okay, here we are in CoinSquare. I'm going to go ahead and sign in as you will need to, or you can create an account from the link that I put in the description. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And again, I do encourage you to use the second factor of authentication. That's where you'll download an app called the Google Authenticator, and it gives you a secret code, a little bit like if you ever used a corporate network and you've had to use a secret second token to be able to log in. There is a fairly straightforward process to create a second factor of authentication. Highly, highly recommended to make sure that somebody cannot just log into your account and transfer your cryptocurrency. They would need to at least have your phone or the Google Authenticator code with them as well. So it makes it just that little bit harder for people to steal your cryptocurrency. So here we are in the dashboard of CoinSquare. As you can see, what it's showing me, my holdings, just the amounts that I keep for liquid petty cash. So I have 2 Litecoins and about 7,000 Canadian dollars sitting in this account from when I was exiting and entering during the Bitcoin boom. And you can do a quick trade right from the left hand side here. I'm going to go ahead and say Canadian dollars. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's say $5,000. And I'm going to go and say that I want to buy BTC, which is Bitcoin. Be very, very careful when selecting your currencies. Each of these codes is a different currency and they carry a different price, and so on and so on. So we can go ahead and choose BTC, and I'm going to go ahead and ask for a quote. Once I have the quote, it says you will receive 0.102040066 of a Bitcoin, and the current price you're trading at is 0.00002041 for 1 Canadian dollar. So it's a very, very small fraction. The most important thing is you would then click on make this trade. One step that I didn't cover, which is how did I get the $7,000 into CoinSquare? Well, I'm going to show you that very briefly. If you click on the fund button, There is currently a deal running where if you use the link that we created below, you're able to do an e-transfer. This is anywhere in Canada, an Interac transfer. It is susceptible to the Interac limits, so it has a daily limit and a weekly and monthly limit, but you are able to transfer roughly in the order of about $10,000 into a cryptocurrency transaction account like this. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I want to fund from Canadian dollars. You're able to say here, if you're using Interac transfer, it's between 20 and 10,000. If you're using a wire transfer, you could go to the bank and actually do a wire for more. So you'll go ahead and click on Interac e-transfer. In there, it'll give you a passcode to put in your Interac transfer so that only they know the secret code to be able to collect that fund, the funds that you send them. Alternatively, you can do a wire transfer for more. I suggest you start off very small and keep the amount that you're going to be investing as learning fees for the beginning until you're more comfortable, and then you can increase your amounts. And from there, it will then show in your dashboard as a holding. And then we can go ahead, and what I'll do now is I'll buy a little bit of Bitcoin, and just for completeness sake, I'll buy a little bit of Ethereum. So we'll go ahead and select. I'm going to be buying from my Canadian dollars side of the account. I'm going to be putting in, let's say, 5,000. And I'm going to say that we want to buy Bitcoin with it. I'm going to get a quote. And we can go ahead and make this trade. And there you go. It's now gone and converted some of that money over. So we have 0.10200,855 of Bitcoin, which is worth about $3,800. The rest of the money I'm going to show is where we're going to take an amount from Canadian dollars and put in the difference, which should be about $2,000. And I'm going to select Ethereum. And we can get a quote on that. We should get a little bit more Ethereum because the price of them is a little bit lower. So we'll get just under 1.3 Ethereum for the amount of money. I'm going to say go ahead and make this trade, and you'll see it show up over here that I've now purchased some Ethereum as well. So it's quite straightforward. And there you go. You can now see that the Canadian dollars have disappeared and an Ethereum amount has shown up here of 1.287464.5 Ethereum, which is worth about $1,500 US. So that's essentially how you would fund an account. That's where you get your money from your fiat currency, your country currency, be it US dollars, Canadian dollars, whatever the case may be. You've pulled it into the exchange, and then from the exchange, I've just gone through the quick trade over here. You can go and look at further things underneath the advanced trade tabs if that's of interest to you. And that is how you will get some cryptocurrency. As mentioned, there is a deal for a few dollars off of your first trade and some free cryptocurrency when you make some more trades on both Coinbase and CoinSquare. So go ahead and sign up using the links down below and you'll get something for that. Thank you everybody for watching right up until the very end. I'm super thrilled that you're going to get started in your journey of understanding Bitcoin, and don't forget to do your own research. Consult your financial advisor and take the necessary precautions that we went through here in this video. And if you'd like to see more of this kind of content, go ahead, give us a comment down below. Click that little bell icon so that you hear about new videos when they do come out. And then if there are specific items that you'd like to hear more about, give us a comment and I'll go ahead and make some content of that. Thanks everybody and have a great week.